Hello everyone and welcome to today's NerdGeek podcast. Today we are discussing movies coming out in 2017 that I think are going to be some of the best movies this year. One of the first movies I think is going to be really good this year, I've actually already done a review on. It was the Lego Batman movie that came out. Well, the review that I did, I posted on this channel yesterday, so make sure you check that out. I thought the movie was pretty good, but if you want a more depth discussion, go to that video. But the first movie that I'm going to discuss today is another DC movie, but it's not Lego, it's just a normal DC movie. It's the Justice League movie. Now, I think this could be the make or break for DC. Now, if you remember, a year ago, that movie came out, and I don't even want to say the title of it, but I'm going to have to. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Crappiness. It was one of the worst movies I have ever seen, if I'm honest. The action was good, but without a good story, it was just pointless. But anyway, the movie. I think this will be the make or break for DC movies. That was what Batman vs. Superman was meant to be, but obviously that was a flop. Suicide Squad could have been the make or break. I haven't actually watched that, but from reviews, that was also a flop. Now, if you remember, back in 2012, the Marvel Cinematic Universe had been going for a solid 4 years. There had been 2 Iron Man movies, a Captain America movie, Hulk, and a Thor movie. Now, other than Hulk, all of them had done pretty decent. You know, it was setting up a good Marvel Cinematic Universe, and there were a bunch of good movies. But then the Avengers came, and it was like, oh my god, this cinematic universe is absolutely amazing. And then everyone loved Marvel, and everyone loved the Avengers, and it was amazing. And since then, give or take, with, I don't know, Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron maybe, and Thor: The Dark World, everything has gone well for Marvel. And I think if they do the Justice League right, if the impact of the movie is as big for their universe as Avengers was for the Marvel universe, I think it will not just make the movie good, but it will make all DC movies after this good. Because the thing I like about Marvel that I don't think some other people like is there's clear links to other people. Like in Civil War, they talk about the Hulk not being there because of what happened in Age of Ultron, and there's just links everywhere, which some people don't like, which I understand, but I really like it, and I don't feel like they have that with DC. This is their second chance. If they don't take this chance, if they mess it up, I don't think their cinematic universe stands a chance against Marvel's. The trailers so far are pretty good, I have to admit. They are pretty sick. But we learned from Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad that just because the trailer's good doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. But I do have high hopes. I think it could be pretty good. So all we can do is hope that it's going to be good. So the next movie is, in my opinion, going to be the best movie of the year. It's definitely going to be, I'm not sure if it's going to be the best movie of the year, but it's definitely the movie I'm looking forward to the most this year. And annoyingly, it comes out in the last month, December 15th. I have a countdown on my phone because I'm that sad. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, first and foremost, people are getting salty because it has Jedi in the title. And if you don't know, because not everyone does, some fans refer to the films by one name. So The Phantom Menace is the Phantom or Menace, and Attack of the Clones is Clones, etc. But I don't refer to that. I refer to like The Phantom Menace as Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones as Attack of the Clones, etc. Sometimes I refer to Empire Strikes Back as Empire or Strikes Back. It's a stupid thing to get annoyed about. It's not that big of a deal. But The Last Jedi is a sick title in my opinion. I don't care if it has Jedi in it. It is a really, really good title. And the fact that the text is red, so many theories. Personally, my best theory on the film is that obviously there are multiple possibilities, but I think Luke trains Rey to be a Jedi, so then she's a Jedi. Then they do stuff, they go back to the Resistance or the Rebellion, I forget what it's called now, and they meet Leia, they cry about Han and stuff, and then there's a battle with the First Order, Luke dies, hence the red title, that because red stands for blood, stands for danger, and I think that's what it's going to mean for Luke. It's going to mean the end of him, and that will make Rey the last Jedi. Now, I am well aware that Jedi is plural, so Jedi could mean one Jedi, or Jedi can mean 2, 3, 4 Jedi, but I think that's what is going to happen. It's not definite, but personally I think that's what will happen. So the next movie is slightly, I guess you could say, controversial. It's the Transformers franchise. Now, this year, they are releasing Transformers The Last Knight. Now, the reason this is controversial is Michael Bay, who I think is a good director, but some people think otherwise with his kind of ideas in the movies and things he has done in the past. Personally, Transformers 1, really good movie. Transformers 2, okay. Transformers 3, really good. Transformers 4 was not that good, like, pretty bad. So it depends whether he's going to follow the same thing he did in 4, or whether he's going to go back to, like, 1 and 3, which I think are the best movies so far. But the reason I'm excited about this movie is because I think it's going to end, like, the Michael Bay franchise, because this is going to be Michael Bay's last movie as a director for Transformers, or maybe his last movie as a director entirely. I'm not sure if that's for definite, though, but he's definitely his last Transformers director outgoing. So that will bring an end to it, but then I think his span has lasted 10 years. So I think in another 10 years, what Paramount, who own the Transformers movie, rights, what they're planning to do is spin-off movies. Like, they're trying to make their universe not just the Transformers. Here's Optimus Prime on Earth with his Autobots, and they defeat the Decepticons, and this happens and that happens, because that's what's happened in the previous 4 movies, and they're expanding that pretty hugely in this movie. But I think what they're trying to do is spin-off movies for Bumblebee. Then they go back to the Nazi era and team up with G.I. Joe. Apparently that's what they're planning to do. They might do something in medieval times with Merlin, all in their separate movies. And what I'm excited about in this movie is I think they're going to make a bunch of references to old things that happened with Transformers on Earth in the past. And with each reference, I reckon they can make one movie. So in the next 10 years, I'm hoping that they release at least one Transformers-related movie, because I love Transformers. I don't care what people say about them. I absolutely love them. They are sick, but I think the Michael Bay Transformers movies and the movies set in the present day, or in the next 10 years, set in the next 10 years, have to end. I think that for now, they focus on spin-off movies with Bumblebee and his adventures. That could be in the future or the present or the not so distant past. But what I really want to see is the G.I. Joe team up and the medieval times with Merlin. What I would like to see, actually, is a Transformers movie, because they always go on about this blooming cube that no one really cares about, and from their world, and now the evil Transformers want to make Earth their new world, and this weird plot. But I want to see a movie set in the past that triggered all of the Transformers movies that have happened. So, like, the big battle that caused Optimus Prime and all his Autobots to go to Earth and all that stuff, because I think that would be really sick, and it'll be a nice prequel. It'll kind of be what Rogue One is to the original trilogy. So the next movie we're talking about is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, the reason I'm looking forward to this movie is because A, it's the first Marvel movie coming out this year, which is really good, but B, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy. The first one, I didn't actually watch it until like 2 years after it was released, because I thought, it's just poor man's Avengers, going to be a bunch of cheesy for 5-year-olds, but it is absolutely hilarious, and it's such a good movie, and I think somehow they are going to make it better, the first one. I don't know how they're going to do that, but I reckon it will be as good as the first one, if not better. And another reason is I am almost certain it's going to be full of a bunch of references to Infinity War. And the reason I like that is because we have 3 Marvel movies coming out this year, Guardians of the Galaxy, then Spider-Man Homecoming, then Thor Ragnarok. So with Guardians of the Galaxy, it's probably the most likely to have the most references. Obviously, Spider-Man will have none, if not one or two references to Infinity War, but most likely none. Thor Ragnarok, I think, will be focusing on Asgard, so there won't be as many references to what is going to happen in Infinity War. However, there could be one or two, but Guardians of the Galaxy is closest to Thanos, who is closest to Infinity War. So the most references that we are going to get to Infinity War before the movie comes out, other than the trailers, will be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So that, on top of the fact that it's a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it's going to be sick. Baby Groot is so cute, and he's just a legend, and I don't see how this movie could go wrong. And when you know a movie is going to be like that, you just cannot wait for it. So I reckon this movie is going to be one of the best movies of this year. So next we are talking about another Marvel movie, but this is a Fox Marvel movie, Logan. Now this is going to be the first 15 movie I'm ever going to see in the cinema, which is a landmark for me. I'm 15 now, go me. But Logan, Hugh Jackman's last outing as Wolverine. Some people are saying that he was going to team up with Deadpool. Now I'm going to make a video about this, or a podcast about it, nearer to when Logan comes out, saying what I think. But in short, with no explanation, I don't think he's going to team up with Logan as Hugh Jackman. But anyway, talking about the movie specifically, the trailers have hyped me up so much. I think this movie cannot go wrong. Unlike recent X-Men movies, X-Men Apocalypse, Days of Future Past, it doesn't matter what's in the movie, it is going to be a good movie. And it's the end of Hugh Jackman. I think it's going to see the side of Wolverine that I know this isn't a word, but the PG-ness of X-Men movies have never let us see before. There can be swearing, there can be blood, there can be decapitation, stuff like that, which is going to be as close to the comics Wolverine as we've ever seen on the big screen. And talking about comics, they're in the trailer. Watch it if you have not watched all of these movies' trailers. They are really good. The trailer for it, there is an X-Men comic that was specially penciled for the trailer and for the movie by an old Marvel artist. I don't know how many more references there are going to be. It's going to be good. It doesn't matter what's in it. It is going to be a good movie. So the next movie is another Marvel movie, Thor Ragnarok. Now, Thor Ragnarok is with 4 movies. The first Thor movie, everyone liked because it was the first Thor movie. We got to see Thor on the big screen for the first time, and it was pretty sick. Him going to Earth, getting, smashing teapots and stuff. But the second movie, it wasn't as good. I don't know what it was about it. The story was good, it's just the movie was a bit meh. Maybe it's because it came out after the Avengers. But Thor Ragnarok is going to be the best Thor movie by far, full stop, and we haven't even seen trailers for it yet. Now, the reason I think this is because Asgard is going to get invaded. We're going to see all the characters that we liked from the first movie that we didn't really get to see in the second movie. He kind of somewhat teams up with his brother Loki, which we did see in the Dark World, but I reckon it's going to be better in this movie, just because with everything else going around it, it's going to be even more dangerous to team up with Loki because he's annoying. But also they're going to go to Earth and get Doctor Strange, and obviously it half mix with World War Hulk, so we might get a flashback to the end of Age of Ultron. So if you do not know what World War Hulk is, it's a comic book story arc, and in this story arc, during Civil War, the Illuminati, this is the comic book version, the Illuminati, which consists of Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Black Panther, Prince Namor, and others, they send the Hulk into space because he's dangerous, and they obviously won't be on his side because Hulk doesn't work for the government, he doesn't like the government hates him, he hates the government. So he's meant to go to a peaceful planet full of bloomin' plants and stuff, but he wakes up halfway through the trip, smashes out of the shuttle, and goes down to a planet. The planet is kind of like the Roman times, where there's gladiators and you're in the big Roman gladiator dome, or arena, whatever you want to call it, and you kill people, and Hulk eventually makes his way up to the king because he's the Hulk. So he becomes the king, he gets a family, has a wife, I think maybe children, but then one day, his shuttle explodes, and we find this out at the end of the story arc, but it was actually one of his own people who set it off because they wanted to kill the humans for upsetting the Hulk. Then Hulk gets salty because they were going to kill me in the first place. So he goes back to Earth, causes destruction, but then gets stopped, and it's a really good story arc. So some of that, to an extent, is going to be in Thor Ragnarok, which will also make the movie really good. And I think it will be the first time in the Marvel Universe where we get to see possibly a villain survive and heroes die permanently. Because obviously we've got Quicksilver, who debatably could come back, which I don't want him to, only for the fact that I want characters to die. I know that sounds savage and rude, but I want them to die to have impact on the universe. So yeah, the movie as a whole is going to be really good. So many things to fit in there that are going to be really cool, and it's going to be, I do believe it's going to be the first movie before the last movie before Infinity War, if not the second to last. So that will be really good. King Kong. King Kong is a blooming legend. It's the first movie, I watched it when I was like 8 or something, and somehow I stayed awake until like 11:30 because I really liked the 2005 remake of King Kong. Now, I really like that movie, and I think now that they've kind of rebooted their universe, they're trying to do what the Transformers universe are trying to do. Obviously, there was a Godzilla movie a couple of years ago, and if you do not know, I didn't know this, but King Kong and Godzilla are owned by the same company, so they're going to cross over, and there's actually a Godzilla 2 movie coming out, I think, in 2019, so that'll be pretty good. But anyway, Kong Skull Island, it's based in the Vietnam time, and they go to an island, and there's King Kong there, and Loki's in it. He's not actually Loki, the actor called Loki that I always forget his name of. Hiddleswift. I know that's not his name. I always forget his name, but you know what I mean. And yeah, Samuel Jackson's in it. So basically just people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But yeah, it's going to be really good. The trailers for it are sick. The posters for it are amazing, and it's one of those movies where it cannot go wrong. Like, it's going to be so sick, and it's going to probably make references to Godzilla, and it will set up a whole universe where Godzilla and King Kong can be together and fight, and that is going to be sick. Anyway, going straight back to Marvel, don't worry guys, this is the last Marvel movie coming out this year. It is Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, Spider-Man Homecoming, I am looking so forward to it. It looks absolutely amazing. Obviously, Spider-Man, it's the third actor playing Spider-Man in the last 15 years, so they have to change it up a little bit, but I think it's going to be sick. I don't care about the other movies. I never watched The Amazing Spider-Man because it looked pretty bad. Tobey Maguire, I do miss that Spider-Man, but this, for me, is going to be the Spider-Man. And yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, it's going to be a sick movie, especially now that he's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's going to be an action scene with Iron Man in it, and it's going to be really, really cool. And we're going to see sides of Spider-Man that I don't think we have seen in the previous 5 movies. That makes it sound like there's been a whole franchise of Spider-Man movies. But I know Marvel Studios will not mess this movie up. The only time they've messed a movie up is with The Incredible Hulk, but I don't think that's their fault. I think it's kind of the Hulk's fault, because if you think about it, the Hulk can't speak to other characters. It's just Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner can be fairly boring. So if the Hulk's not with other characters and he's just standalone, which they were trying to do, I don't think that movie would work, and it never would work. So I think that's the only reason they messed up. Anyway, Spider-Man Homecoming is going to be sick. The action sequences, and it's a guy in high school, or secondary school as we call it in England, and I don't know, with Spider-Man, he's one of those characters that anyone can be in their minds, because everyone has been at secondary school, so it's just really cool. Cannot wait. So the next movie we're talking about is The Fate of the Furious, the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, this movie, when I watched the trailer, I honestly nearly cried. It was like 7 a.m. in the morning. I was on Twitter. I saw there was a new Fast and Furious trailer, and if you have not seen it, watch it. It nearly made me cry, like I said. Vin Diesel, I never remember the characters' names, alright? Vin Diesel betrays his family, alright? And he tries to kill The Rock. I mean, that is a dick move, man. Why you do that? I nearly cried. I want to cry now. But you get my point. You don't do that. It's going to be such a sick movie. Paul Walker is not going to be in it. That's the one flaw. Obviously, Paul Walker died, sadly. And they can't keep on using his two brothers to computerize Paul Walker, because that's not really fair, and they have to move on. So I think that's the only reason the movie might not be good, and also the fact that Vin Diesel betrays them, that could make the movie terrible. But I think they will do the movie right, and it will be pretty good. So also, another DC movie coming out this year is Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman, the trailers look pretty good. I don't think it's going to be one of those movies where it's going to change everything in the DC universe. It's going to change cinema forever. But I do think it will be a good movie. It's set in World War One, which we have not seen a superhero in World War One yet. We've seen Captain America in World War Two at Marvel. But DC, or Marvel, or anywhere, we have not seen a superhero in World War One. So that will make it good. And I reckon it will be hard to mess this movie up, because you have a good actress in... Is her name Gal Gadot? I mean, that's how I say it, but I always think I'm pronouncing it wrong. So I think you have a good actress, you have a good character, you have a good story. I don't see how they could mess it up. And ironically, I don't think the trailer is one of the best trailers in terms of DC movies. So maybe, I'm not trying to be cocky, but maybe that means the movie's actually going to be good. You never know. I think it will be a good movie. I don't think they can mess this up. But yet again, they messed most of their movies up. Anyway, moving on before I get more salty. So going back to one of the retro films, we are having the next installment in the rebooted Planet of the Apes universe or franchise, War for the Planet of the Apes. And just the title, War, the Planet of the Apes is going to be there. War. That is going to make the movie sick. And if you have not seen the trailer, please do look at it, because it is just going to be really, really good. There's apes on horses, and I don't know, I think it's going to be the first time since the original Planet of the Apes movie came out, like whenever that came out in the 20th century, versus another species in cinema. And it's just going to be really, really cool, because obviously, although original movies are good, nowadays with the Planet of the Apes movies, I think they're better than the originals, only because the animations, maybe not the first movie with the in the original movie with the Statue of Liberty in the sand, that you cannot replace in cinematography. That is amazing. But I think in terms of the franchise as a whole, in terms and animation, the new ones are going to be really, really good. So I cannot wait for this movie. Seeing apes on horseback with rifles versus humans with all this technology. So taking a slight twist into my childhood, there is going to be a third installment in the Cars franchise. And once again, call me sad, I don't care. I watched the trailer at 7 a.m. in the morning, or it wasn't 7 a.m. in the morning. I got back from school, alright, and I saw the trailer, and there was Lightning McQueen blooming flipping over and presumed dead. I know he's not presumed dead, he's not going to die in the movie, but oh my god, I nearly cried. I watched it 2 times, I nearly cried both times, so I had to watch some cat videos to make me happy again. But, like, oh god, I probably will end up seeing this movie, because it just looks pretty good. It does, alright, don't judge me, it looks good. So staying in my childhood, there's a Power Rangers movie coming out this year. It looks amazing. If you've not seen the trailers, it looks sick. I don't care what people say. It is going to be pretty cool. Everything that I've done so far is good. Instead of making it like bloomin', it's the 1990s still. Power Rangers, they're not doing that. They're kind of doing what I like to call an Avengers twist, where they bring it into the modern era, change their suits to make it modern, and make it more modern so it's less cheesy, therefore making the movie as a whole much better. So I think this movie is going to be really good. The only way it could be bad is with the dialogue, in my opinion, because if they make it really cheesy, it'll be like, really? Like, why did you have to say that? It's just cheesy. No. But yeah, I think it's going to be good. And this will probably be the final movie we talk about today. It's another classic, The Mummy. Now, The Mummy, a lot of these movies are going to be hit or miss, and I think The Mummy is going to be like that as well. It's because they got Tom Cruise in it. I think Tom Cruise is one of those actors where if he's in a movie, he's either really, really good or he's really, really bad and cringy. And as long as he's not cringy, I think The Mummy will be pretty good. Because I read an article about it in the Empire magazine, and apparently they're going to have, like, Dr. Jekyll in it. So apparently the Mummy universe might turn into, like, you know, so Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, if you have not studied that in school, you are lucky. It is the most boring book ever. The story of it is really good. The dialogue in the book, oh my god, I want to die when I'm reading it. But anyway, it could turn the Mummy universe into something pretty unique, I guess. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to see more NerdGeek podcasts. Also, share this video with your friends, because if you're watching this, you're a nerd or a geek, or both like me, a neek, as some people call it. And, you know, if you're friends with those people, just, you know, send them a link to the podcast. They might like it. If they like it, they can subscribe and stuff. It helps me out. Thank you. And also make sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter pages so you can get updates on when videos are coming out, pictures of nerdy things that I have, and what videos I may be doing in the coming weeks. So yeah, thank you for watching or listening, and I will see you next time.